Welcome everybody to part two to take two on this. I had to kind of drop off for personal reasons, but now we are back, and let us now resume back into building building like just for a refresher for everybody. Where's the box? Just kind of a refresher for everybody. We are building Lex Luthor suit from the superheroes line from Legos. Just to kind of give like a quick layout of that, and this is where we will resume. I apologize to the audience that is here. I had to drop. It was definitely more of a personal issue that I didn't initially. I completely forgotten about. That is on me, and I do apologize, and I will work to be better. As the saying goes, progress, not perfection. So we will now move, and we will continue to stream until we have finished both sets. And I think you can take a wild guess of what the second set's gonna be. But like I said, we are going to continue to build. So in the meantime, how is everybody's Sunday going? Otherwise, play some. I don't see a lot of commotion, a lot of motion going on in chat. I will just start mumbling and just making up my own sounds as we go along. Oops, I almost forgot the one last part. Hey, here I am. Yep, I'm right here. Yep, and the motion, everything's working, so you have something more pleasant to look at. Something a little bit more happy to look with. Yeah, I know a little bit. It's a little bit of a mess. So, but like I said, progress, not perfection. And this is also just for. We're also so follow along. Just kind of keeping an eye out on chat as well. Let me check something here quickly. There we go. Camera was in line correctly. So now we got extra movement. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 la ba ba Moran. Ba 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 Moran. There we go. If you want other really bad voicing, leave a comment. Bomberine. Bomberine. And if you and yes, and Barbarine, we're a rocking and roll, we're rocking and roll about a the Barbarine, the Barbarine. And yes, YouTube, this is not. Yes, YouTube, I am mumming it. I am not playing the sound. This should be considered transformative. So we should not have any copyright, right? Good, very good. Next thing you know, I got the Beach Boys suing me because claiming I'm butchering their song. If that's the case, 90% of the country, you can sue. You can make the case that yes, they're butchering it as well. Oh, I know that for myself. Yesterday, I went to go visit some friends. Their 2-year-old. It was their 2-year or 1-year-old turned 2 birthday party. Yesterday, and it was really nice. I basically was like a WWE referee slash fun uncle there. Basically just had to make sure that the crying was only because kids are being kids and not because of an actual injury. How does it? Hold on, am I missing something here? Wait a minute, wait. So I got that. What? Oh, rotate again. Gotcha. Okay. I was looking at it like, am I missing something here? So probably here's like the little green one of this. And we get one of these. There we go. So that's gonna be one leg to that. I know like, well, at very least, if anybody wants to, they can kind of discuss about the latest Superman movie from as I'm hearing a lot on the internet, it's James Gunn movie starring Superman. Now, I haven't seen the movie. I have not seen the movie yet. I do plan on to in the near future. Mainly, I have a friend who is a big movie person and have basically made it so that I should not see. Basically, I have to go with them. So I'm kind of just waiting on them to kind of give me the go ahead that when they're gonna go. Maybe this weekend, maybe next. Who knows? Time will tell on that. But there's a lot of chatter around how good or bad the Superman movie is on the internet. And for those of you who are trying to make heads or tails about why there's so much, and yes, I do need to put a disclaimer. These are just my opinions. Whether you agree with them or not, that's up for you to decide. I didn't grow up on the comics, the Superman comics, as much as many people are. I grew up primarily on the animated series. In the early '90s, early '90s. Another thing I grew up on growing up was also the Batman the animated series. So if anything, I didn't necessarily grow up with Gene Hackman and to the chagrin of some, I did not grow up with with Chris Reeves as Superman. Although I have rewatched some of them, and I can appreciate while I can appreciate what he has done for the character of Superman and become sort of basically the de facto real blueprint for it. My bias would be more towards like want to see more of the animated series, kind of be able to come to real life. And it seems, and by the looks of things, from the trailer and from our feedback, and from the trailer and some of the feedback I've gotten, James Gunn has accomplished some of that aesthetic, has got that look to it, but then decides to write his own version, basically write his own story. and a lot of the discourse I've heard over it is based primarily on that. Is based primarily around that. Does do you like for example some of the story? I'm not gonna say some of the rumored stuff I've heard. I'm gonna wait till I see it for myself and then confirm it. I'm not the type of person. I'm not gonna. I've heard some of the things, and I will wait till I see a movie to confirm it. But I've heard from a lot of people who have already, from a lot of our a lot of people in our sphere on this in our sphere that's already seen it are a lot of heated things. And if some of you want to try to understand what a lot of it has to do with, it has to come down to how much do you value uh, Superman sticking true to the comics, for a lot of people growing up, for people who have grown up with Superman and the comic books. Yeah, that's gonna be a big deal breaker, especially like depending on which storyline they follow. Uh, the only thing I will say is the only thing I will agree though is Superman should be. This is not just any character. This ain't just some or Marvel character, any Marvel or DC character that you're trying to bring up or try to artificially outlift. This is the OG. This is the superhero to kind of that has become the archetype to which everything's kind of built around. Whenever you're talking about Dark Horse, Marvel, even DC. So there is I wholeheartedly understand and even agree to a point about there should be a higher standard. There should be a very high standard in regards to the Superman movie, to the passion that a lot of fans have in regards to Superman. Um, with that said, I think it just comes down to to what is your expectation? Do you just want to go for a movie to just kind of enjoy for a brief period of time and just kind of turn your brain off? It sounds like that's what this movie does, especially if you are a person who wants to see Superman as close to even the comics or even as close as possible to Chris Reeves, for example. It sounds like they might, from my understanding, you might going to be varying levels of disappointment to possibly angry. And I think the biggest thing to take away from it is, believe it or not, that's okay. It's okay for people to have those feelings. It just shows that there is a passion or fire, passion for Superman. Something that I think a lot of filmmakers and studios take for granted. And it has led to a lot of decline, along with cost decline of people going to the cinemas and wanting to go see the movies. I know I'm probably jumping off and banter and probably getting slightly off topic, but the ultimate point I'm trying to make is it's not the issue. It's not an issue of having passion. It's what you do with that passion sometimes, and some people can get carried away. It's just the end of the day. It's just a question of the problem is some people take it way too personal. And what you need to do is just step back and go, okay, do I think is it anything specific to our sphere? Not really. It's just sort of a high level. This high level. That's how I operate. Plus, there's also like the event. Also, we control each other a little bit for fun. With each other just for fun, and that should be okay. especially when I have the mentality of, especially when I know I'm expecting a little payback in that regard. So so I'll kind of quiet my yapping for a little bit, and then you go, and then let you guys give the chat a little bit of room to decide if to kind of chime in on on the whole discourse around the Superman movie. Oops, Ken Mom John Williams on here. Heard rumors that those people even just murmuring it is enough to get like copyright issues and like even mumming it or humming it, murmuring, humming. Yeah, sure, fake. I guess like if you want to know my opinion on it, I'm probably I will do the best I can to enjoy it, just to kind of turn off my brain, but it'll be hard to do because, especially not just watching Christopher, but because you have we have a baseline to compare to. This is another part that a lot of people seem to have a hard time understanding is when you do a remake, you're always going to be compared to what is previous, and you can make a case, and you can say what, and you can make a case that modern technology should make things better, and it should. However, it also excuses sometimes some for over reliance on CGI. We've seen a lot of movies recently where they have gone down that route of everything's going to be used with CGI, and it's basically a nothing. It's not enjoyable. It's just sort of it's content. It's not really a movie. It's just content. It's just there to exist. This is there to exist, and with the expectation that people are just going to go run and buy it. Just going to buy it. And I think audiences and fans are waking up to that and just saying, no, we actually want quality. We want good. We. It's not that we don't want. It's not that we don't want to go to the theaters. You got to give us a reason to go to the theaters. And I think that's ultimately, and that's something that's you're starting to see that kind of change around on that. So, okay, let's see. We turn this around. And yes, there will be a second build after this. First, we're gonna start off with one of the more, believe it or not, this is actually one of the more. This is the of the two builds we're gonna do to this doing this time. Probably the more complicated of the two, and you will see why in a moment.